Hello, and welcome to another episode of BNEWS Sports Hub. I'm your host, Liz Gillespie. This month, we're going to have a retrospective of the show and how the pandemic changed the way we interacted with athletes throughout the sports seasons. We'll also have Robert Parris with a special year-in Red Devil review. That's right here, right now, on this month's BNEWS Sports Hub. To jumpstart our discussion, we'll offer you a little refresher on what has happened throughout the sports seasons here at Burlington High School. Let's check out the year in review with BNews sports reporter Robert Parris.
Hey everyone, I'm Robert Parris for the year-in Red Devil review. What a crazy year for Burlington High School sports. The impact of the pandemic were felt by every team and every athlete, but with hard work and perseverance, the season did go on, with some modifications. With empty gyms and stadiums, social distancing rules in place, and of course, the face coverings, the Red Devil athletes had an experience this year unlike any other. Let's kick things off by talking about the Fall Session 1 season. Only 5 teams competed in the first session, including boys and girls soccer, girls field hockey, boys golf, and girls and boys cross country. The athletic department has decided to move the games to Saturdays. BCAT was there filming and live stream games for the public who could not attend due to the Middlesex League rule put in place, preventing in-person attendance. No senior division playoffs took place after the regular season ended. As fall transitioned into winter, the department made adjustments for athletes competing in an indoor environment. Gymnastics, basketball, and ice hockey were the only sports to participate in this category. Although the seasons were short and modified, great things happened for a number of the teams. 3 of them finished the year with undefeated records: girls basketball, girls hockey, and girls gymnastics. A Middlesex League title was also brought back to Burlington as the Red Devils girls basketball team won the title in the Middlesex League Championship against the Arlington Spy Ponders. As the vaccine started rolling out, things began to take a turn for the better and some restrictions were eased. The Fall Session 2 was held in late winter, early spring, and featured play by BHS football, girls indoor swim, volleyball, and girls and boys indoor track. For indoor track, their season had to be played outside instead of the usual in. None of the teams had playoffs except for volleyball. However, the boys indoor track team pulled an undefeated season and finished the year at 5-0 and were the Middlesex League Freedom Division champions. The volleyball team competed in 2 playoff matches, one against the Arlington Spy Ponders and the other against Winchester during the semi-round, which they lost. After Fall Session 2 came to a close, it was time for the spring season athletes to take center stage. This included track, baseball, softball, tennis, lacrosse, and 2 additional sports who missed their original seasons, wrestling, and boys indoor swimming. Girls tennis finished the year at 9-1, while the boys finished with an 8-2 record. Both teams headed to the Middlesex League tourney and only made it through the first and consolation rounds. Girls lacrosse had a fantastic regular season, as they were another team who finished the year undefeated at 10-0. Burlington was named the Middlesex League Freedom Division champs. The team headed to the first round of the MIAA playoffs, where they faced Lowell High School. Burlington lost to their opponent 15-11, an upsetting end to an incredible season. Boys lacrosse had 2 playoff matches. First, they hosted the Beverly Panthers in the first round at Varsity Field and finished the game 10-2 over Beverly. They then faced the number 1 seed, the Reading Rockets, where their season came to a close after a 10-5 defeat. Boys baseball headed to Greater Lowell Tech for the first round of the MIAA playoff tourney, where they fell short 5-2. Burlington ended the year with a 3-10 record. Girls softball had 2 playoff games in the MIAA tourney. First, they battled with the Melrose Red Raiders and secured a 7-6 extra innings win. The Red Devils then faced the Arlington Catholic Cougars, where they dropped the ball after having a 9-3 lead. The Cougars came back winning it 12-9. Girls softball finished the year with an 11-2 record. Boys wrestling had a playoff beat against Norwood and Westford Academy in the Metro Divisional II MIAA playoff tournament. Burlington finished the meet with a 46-33 win. They were also named the District 2 Metro Sectional Champs. As of this taping, the boys are currently scheduled to face another opponent. Good luck to all the senior athletes who participate in the Red Devil Athletics, and best of wishes to your futures. And that is all for your Red Devil Review. I'm Robert Parris. Back to you, Liz.
Thanks, Robert. I'm sad to say that this will be my last Sports Hub episode as the host, as I'll be heading off to UC Davis in California this fall. I started BCAT as a video voyager when I was in middle school, and I loved working with everyone throughout my years here as a volunteer. In 2019, I was asked to host this show, and I gladly accepted. It's been a pleasure to get the opportunity to host this program and the athletes and the coaches I met along the way. For my last episode, we're going to look back on my top 10 moments throughout my time on Sports Hub. To start, we kick things off with head coach Dan McKay and graduated captains Kyle Pena and Chris Jones with our first episode of BNEWS Sports Hub in fall 2019 with the football team. Let's take a look. You're both a teacher and a coach, so
Yes.
What's it like to do both simultaneously?
It's actually been pretty unique. I was a teacher. I've been here at Burlington for 14 years, going to my 12th year teaching. Before I was the head coach here, I coached at different schools, so it was weird teaching here and then going and coaching somewhere else. It was kind of separate. Now I have everything here, which I like because I get to monitor grades. And so, I mean, I love being in the classroom. I love teaching U.S. history. Love being with the students and having fun in there, learning about that. And then it's fun to go from the classroom back out to the field and be able to coach then football, because there's a lot of similarities between teaching and coaching. You got to have a sequence. You got to be organized. You need to be prepared. It's the same in both. Good teaching is good teaching. Coaching is teaching. So it's a lot of fun.
So what made you want to become the head coach here?
It's always been an aspect. I mean, I've been around football since I was 8 years old. Played all the way through Pop Warner High School and college,
Nice.
and actually kind of fell backwards into coaching. Never thought I'd like it. My old varsity coach called me up, asked if I wanted to coach a freshman. Ended up loving it. And as I started going through and working my way up to varsity and defensive coordinator, I realized that I wanted to be a head coach because I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed the structure of it. I just enjoy the game a lot. Obviously, it's different as a coach. It's a lot more mentally draining as you're trying to get everybody in the right spots and trying to get everybody situated. You're doing a lot more thinking during the game to get your players in the right spots and to be successful. As I went through and had some success, I felt like I could be a good head coach, and it's something that I wanted to challenge myself with and do. And I thought this would be a great place to do it because I teach here. I had coached against Burlington for years and felt like they were always tough kids and wanted to coach here.
How long have you guys been playing football for?
I've been playing since I was 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually didn't start playing until I was in the 8th grade because I was always bigger than everyone. But so it's going to be my 5th year playing. Can't wait to end it on a high note.
So you guys are captains now. Congratulations. So what are some of the responsibilities that you have to take on?
We really need, like set an example for the younger teammates and, like show them how to like do like the things like right and on and off the field. And it's a real privilege.
You guys got a lot of freshmen.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot of freshmen.
So what are some things you have to teach them, really?
For me, with the offensive line, we have 4 new starters on the offensive line. So
Nice.
It's been a process, just helping them with the technique, stuff like that, getting to know the plays. Obviously, as a 3-year starter, I know the offense a lot more well than they do. So just been helping them, just coaching them up, stuff like that, keeping them up, make sure they don't get too down on themselves.
You got to work hard on every play, and you got to like give it your all. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And that's pretty much all I picked up on.
Yeah, like what Kyle said, just you can't take a play off in practice, in a game, nothing like that. If you take a play off, you're hurting not just yourself, but your team.
Yeah.
So you don't want to let your brothers down, especially on Friday night, and like messing up on a play, stuff like that.
Throughout my 4 years at Burlington High, I participated in 2 sports, volleyball and tennis. For our next episode, we had the opportunity to speak with one of my coaches, Cassandra Blum, and former captains Kelly Joyce and Lindsay Baxter from the volleyball team in 2019. Here's a clip of my interview with Coach Blum. So what got you into volleyball?
I played volleyball here in Burlington, and my freshman year of high school was only the second season that Burlington had a volleyball team.
Oh, wow.
So it was a brand new program, a brand new sport for the town, and it just sounded like something fun to get into, and ever since then have been hooked. So it's really about how we're going to work together as a team, how are we going to prepare for the next game, and how are we going to get those wins to make it into the playoffs and hopefully go as far in the playoffs as we can. Everyone has really stepped up this season. We've done really, really well. It's nice to see, obviously, Kelly Joyce and Lindsay Baxter, our two captains, are playing really well. Her kills are, I think, first or second in the league right now, which is awesome. Her dig numbers are really, really high in the league, so that's great. But unexpected people stepping up would be probably, we have a sophomore, Molly Murphy, who's consistently giving us kills. Her first year on a varsity team. Same thing with Caroline Curtin, a junior. She's doing a great job. And then we have our senior, Kristen Magnarelli, middle, who's always consistently hitting and serving for us. So I could keep going and talk about all the girls, but everyone's really doing a great job.
I first started playing when my older sister Sheila, she started playing her freshman year, and I was really inspired to start playing with her. And even if it was just peppering in the backyard or something, I started just playing like small pickup games with her.
Cool.
And then I was close with Kelly in 7th grade, and seeing her get into volleyball really made me want to start volleyball, so we began to do some clinics together, and we just played ever since then.
So if there could be one message that you could tell yourself throughout the entire season, what would it be?
I definitely say to leave it all on the court. I know this is definitely probably going to fly by this season, senior year, so kind of put everything out there and soak up every moment.
Nice.
Yeah, I think to always come in thinking every team's going to be the best team you're going to play. I know we've truly learned this season that teams will get better than you think they have been in the past, so just always play your game and just put it all out.
Moving into the winter season, one of the most high-flying sports at BHS is the boys gymnastics team. As we began to enter the new year, Coach Jordan Marino was hitting the mats harder than ever, as it was his first year as the varsity head coach.
With Mr. B now retired, I've been the assistant coach for 15 plus years, and now I moved up as head coach.
Awesome.
And so I have to remember everything that Mr. B had taught me as a gymnast and as a coach. And but and the coach before him, Mr. Hayes, all of that kind of comes together, and to keep all of that in the gym without them being in the gym, I don't think it'll be hard, but it will be different.
One of our last episodes to feature a team sitting together was the boys varsity ice hockey team. This episode was filmed the week before the COVID state of emergency. At the Times, captains John Condon, Spencer Reith, and Ryan O'Halloran, and coach Bob Conceition were gearing up for the upcoming playoffs, which never took place.
I think the main emphasis this year was on developing some goal scoring within the kids who didn't play much last year, and we're stepping up into bigger roles this year. We've had a really, really strong program in the last 16 years, but before that, Burlington's a very, very traditionally a strong hockey program. It's a hockey town. The people in hockey really support the hockey program. Fortunate enough to win a couple of state championships, 2012, 2013, back-to-back. But the last 16 years have been very, very successful. I mean, like this year, we played ourselves into the Super 8 tournament. I think we've been in it 5 or 6 times in the last 15 years, which is a big accomplishment for a public school, because you're playing against a lot of Catholic schools that come from 10, 12, 15 different towns, so they're kind of all-star teams. So to play with that level of competition is tough, but we're very proud of the fact that as a public high school, we've been so successful recently.
What got you guys involved in hockey?
Well, for me, I tried pretty much every sport in the world before hockey, and then could not find the one that I loved. And then the second I touched the ice and was just gliding around, I kind of fell in love with it. So,
I think just for me, my friend group, the kids I was hanging out with in school, and then we had season tickets to the Bruins when I was like 7, so I was going to that, and that just got me interested.
I just followed my brother's path. They both played before me. Both my uncles played, so kind of a hockey family to start, so we just kind of followed into that.
We have good fans. We have a lot of people that come out to every single game, mostly home games, and
So we're pretty fortunate to have that.
Yeah, our games are pretty fun. We had a nice schedule this year with teams that we had rivalries with, some teams that some of us hadn't played at all, and it just worked out for the teams that we played.
I just miss being in the locker room every day, for sure. You know, it's just like, it's so weird. Like you got a regular schedule every day. You go to school, you go to practice, you go home or whatever. And like now we just like, you start it up again in your spring sport, but there's just nothing like the winter season, and that's what you'll miss probably the most.
Yeah, I'll miss the team dinners, hanging out with everyone.
The team dinners is huge.
The games, I'll miss the games especially, and yeah.
Sadly, there were no new Sports Hub episodes that highlighted the remainder of the winter season, and there were no episodes for any spring sports as there was no season to highlight. Thankfully, in August of 2020, the MIAA made the decision that sports would be returning to schools in the Middlesex League, which meant that fall sports would once again be played at Burlington High. We had an interview with BHS Athletic Director Sean Hart for more information on the upcoming modified season.
The first thing that everybody's trying to do right now is we're trying to just make sure that everything we do in the school right now is about making sure that student safety, staff safety, coaches safety, you know, all of those things are being kind of piled into one big, you know, area, and we're just trying to work ourselves through it because, you know, I know that everybody thinks that everybody has the answers, but really, like, every time something happens, it's like, it's a new something, and you just made 10 plans to do one thing, and then it changes. We're gonna wipe down every surface. There will be nobody in the gyms when we play at times. So all of those things are precautions, but one group who decides that we're gonna go do this and hang out together and somebody gets sick ends it all.
Yeah.
So that's
one pasta party could be the end.
Well, again, the fragility of it all. But again, like, there's that happy medium of, I want to have a season because the camaraderie of the team is sometimes as important, if not more.
It is.
Than the win, the loss, the this, the that. You know, it's the travel piece that makes it fun. It's the sitting around wearing, 50 layers of clothes, laying on a field, waiting for the next game. Like, I get that. So I think that everything in moderation, if you will help us get there.
It was thrilling to see the return of schools at the high school, and the return of sports meant the return of Sports Hub. Our first episode in fall 2020 showed the spotlight on the girls cross country team with coach Christina DeCroce and the now graduated captains Allie Illich, Colleen McMakin, and Allie Irwin.
We did have a few girls not return because of the situation. It's just very different, and we had 3 new runners join.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah.
So is it like safe since you're outside?
Yes. Yes and no. I mean, we still have to observe social distancing. If girls are within 6 feet of one another, they have to be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Only when they're off running, they can be distanced without a mask on.
Okay.
But typically, and they've been very good about it. I ran the first day with them and with a mask on and realized, this isn't the best, but it's not horrible.
Yeah.
And if it's what we have to do to stay safe, they're doing it.
So what's been your favorite part of being on the cross country team?
I love our small team. I get to know all the girls personally, and we all know each other. It's really fun.
How has COVID changed the season for you?
It's just more being aware when you're running. Just need to be aware of the others around you and take more precautions, like wearing your mask when you're running.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest change we have to deal with this year.
It's been really sad just because I had to be out the first week because I was quarantining because I was exposed to someone. I didn't have it myself, but so that stunk that I was missing the first week, and we were already starting like a month late.
Yeah.
So everything feels delayed, and when we run, we have to wear our masks, so we're like huffing and puffing, and the mask is getting like sucked into our mouth.
Definitely.
Not the most pleasant, and then like the staying 6 feet apart, and just we can only have a certain amount of practices. And losing the invitationals, as much like trauma as they cause, like there's a lot of memories that come out of them. So that's
awesome.
Really sad.
Wrapping up the first fall season, Athletic Director Sean Hart returned to the show to follow up on the outcome of the season and what the plans were moving into the modified winter season.
It was probably better than we could have dreamed.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was a home run, to use the old sports analogy. We were very lucky. I mean, obviously 12 schools in the Middlesex League. We broke into 2 divisions. We played the Freedom teams, the Liberty teams played the Liberty teams. And of all the schools that participated in athletics this fall, Nobody played more games than we did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was really good. We ended up with one varsity level cancellation, obviously due to an abundance of caution with the COVID protocols. But everything else played, and missing one game of the entire pandemic and the entire way we built the season. And again, nobody else had as much success in getting games in than we did. And it was it was overwhelming at times, but worth every minute, because again, I think that the student athletes here, I think the parents here, I think that just overall people were just like to have it. So we're just trying to say that, the actual playing of the sport and giving the kids an opportunity to play is more meaningful than having one extra person try and jam in and figure it out. So again, the luxury that we have is that we're playing, and another luxury that we have is there's going to be hopefully another great winter with BCAT providing.
Of course.
And I think that being able to have the opportunity to watch it makes it less worrisome for us, because we're offering a way to see it.
One standout team from the modified winter season was the undefeated Middlesex League champions, the girls basketball team, led by captains Marina Callahan, Sydney Pavo, Natalie Barucci, and coach Pam McKay.
This was definitely a strange year, just trying to get through the fall, not knowing if we'd have a season or not. So trying to balance all the preseason work that I would do in a normal year to be prepared versus the risk that maybe I would be let down and we wouldn't have a season.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It happened pretty quickly when the EEA guidelines came out and said, yeah, you can play. So then from there, everything kind of moved quickly. But I think that they're pleased that we had a tournament instead of having those days off. So it came quickly, and then you played 3 games in 4 days to win a title. So it was a whirlwind. I'm sure they're exhausted, but I think they're very happy.
I'd miss just, I don't know, having Meg, Sid, and Nat just like bounce all of our days off and like going to coach every day. Like that's what I'm gonna miss most. I mean, coming into the season, I didn't even think it was gonna happen. So ending up having to have 13 games was better than I could have even thought.
Yeah, definitely. What was it like for you to go undefeated?
I mean, it was great. My freshman year we went 500, and then sophomore year we didn't even make the tournament, and then last year we had 1 playoff game. So going undefeated and then going on to win the tournament was like the best senior year ever for basketball.
Definitely.
One of our goals from the beginning was to go undefeated, and I knew we could do that as long as we showed up to every game and played like we knew how to play and just played our game and kept things in control, and that's what we did.
I really wasn't sure what to expect going into it, because there was like a bunch of different like modifications, and then they would get changed. So it was definitely different than I was expecting, but I'm glad we were able to get in and actually play.
Not only did the team have a phenomenal season, this season was a major achievement for Captain Marina Callahan. She was named All-Scholastic in the Boston Herald's Dream Team. She'll be heading to Assumption College on a full basketball scholarship. Congrats on the incredible season. We're taking a look at the boys' gymnastics once more during their 2020 season as they celebrated the 50th anniversary, and Coach Marino was thrilled to talk about his experience on the team.
Some of my favorite memories were listening to the advice that my coaches would give me if we would go to a gym and the spring floor just didn't seem right.
Yeah.
And looking back on the advice they gave us, sometimes I can see now that really didn't make sense. But at the time I believed it, and they told me what I needed to hear to compete.
Nice.
I'm not going to give away those wise comments, because I don't want the kids learning what those are, and then they'll soon learn that, hey, wait a minute, you give me a line just to compete. But those are my favorite ones, because over the years, when kids come to me with those concerns, say, Coach, these rings don't feel right, or this high bar seems like this, I remember all those things that Mr. Hayes and Mr. B told me.
Awesome.
And I look back and go, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't really make sense. But you say it.
That's such a special little thing. I love that.
It is, and I never really thought about it, or maybe even had said it out loud until just now. But it's something that's always been like in the corner of your mind, And,
Yeah.
and this is how you handle a kid who is just kind of they're in their head, and you need to get them out. This is what you do. This is how you help them.
Yeah.
I would have to say the level of recruitment is going to be rests solely on social media.
Yeah, makes sense.
Social media didn't exist when I was back in high school. It didn't. Facebook, MySpace, all of those things kind of were, in recent history. And so to be able to use those to our advantage moving forward into the future, in showing what Burlington High School looks like now, And so to harness that and put that out into the world to show them that, you know, what it looks like now and still, and where it's going, I think will be the future of gymnastics.
And finally, we come to our last highlighted episode. As we moved into the spring season, this final episode was a little different. Instead of asking the questions, I was the one answering. My coach, Tony Machetto, and I were the subject of the episode as we talked about the girls' varsity tennis team.
2020 is like you didn't know what to expect. We went in, it just kept getting delayed every 2 weeks, and we were hoping that, you know, things would just kind of work its way out, but it never did. We didn't know what was going on. So it's good that, you know, health-wise that we didn't have it. It's unfortunate for the seniors last year, but, you know, it was what it was, you know. It happened, and you just kind of move on from it. It makes this season even better, you know, to be back out in the court. Everyone that came in, the underclassmen and the seniors, really, I don't know, it's just like a big difference in their maturity and their calmness, and, you know, it was really wonderful to kind of witness. We're lucky how things are going right now, how things are trending. So I think it's a testament to, you know, the vaccines, people adhering to the mask thing, wearing masks before. So I think it's a good reward. I feel like we've been rewarded for
good behavior.
Yeah, basically for good behavior.
It's been super fun. 3 years would have been 4. They would have all been fantastic. I've loved all the people I've played with. Every team has been its own unique experience with every new person that's been there. All the people that have been graduating, they've all been fantastic. We all have had a great time being competitive with each other and having fun with each other. I have loved playing with them. It's a very cool experience knowing everybody that you're playing with and you're all having a good time together. And that's all for this episode of BNEWS Sports Hub. I'm beyond thankful for my time on this show and everyone that's worked with me throughout my 2 years here. I'm also incredibly excited to see the bright future of Sports Hub in the upcoming years. I'd like to thank all the crew that I've worked with and all of the guests that I've spoken to. I've been your host, Liz Gillespie. Thank you so much for watching.